Hey everyone, so today we're doing part 2 of week 1 of the PSMA. I cannot remember the initials for some reason. So it's still the Jazzy Jirachis versus the intimidating Iron Valiants. Last time the Jazzy Jirachis won. Let's see what happens this time. Primeape Snorlax lead. Primeape starts with using Wave Crash, dealing 18% in recoil, and Snorlax turns Primeape into a water type. I don't think that's going to do much, but Primeape KOs itself with Healing Wish. Galarian Slowking comes out, and Snorlax uses Tail Glow. So now it's at 2.5 times special attack. Slowking uses Thrash, and Snorlax uses Brave Bird. Too bad that's not a special move. Slowking finishes off Snorlax with Thrash and confuses itself in the process. Togetic comes out and uses Mach Punch for 1%. And Slowking uses Close Combat for 7%. Togetic tries to use Thunderclap, but that doesn't work with Metronome. And Slowking also uses Healing Wish. That's 2 Healing Wishes already. Sableye tries to use Earthquake, but it fails. Togetic uses Hydro Steam. Sableye counters by using Conversion to turn into a normal type. And Togetic uses Sandsear Storm and burns Sableye. Sableye counters by using Floral Healing, which heals Togetic's 7% that Slowking did to it. Sableye uses Flatter to confuse Togetic but also raise its special attack. I'm assuming that was a physical attack it was going to use because, well, it didn't do that much. Togetic uses Safeguard. Hopefully Sableye or Togetic don't use Electro Shot. Sableye uses Screech and Togetic uses Spatial Rend. Goodness gracious. This Togetic is cracked. Jirachi uses Terrain Pulse to almost KO Togetic with an electric type Terrain Pulse. Togetic misses Swagger somehow. I didn't even know that was possible. And Jirachi finishes off Togetic with Air Slash. Weavile comes out, and Weavile uses Corrosive Gas to get rid of the Lepa Berry. And Jirachi uses Giga Impact. Safeguard goes down, and Weavile tries to ally switch, but it's not a double battle, so that was just a free recharge turn for Jirachi. Jirachi uses Solar Blade, or charges up Solar Blade, I should say, and Weavile uses Hammer Arm. Weavile goes down, which will bring in Alchemy. Jirachi uses Sticky Web, and Alchemy counters with Mean Look, so Jirachi is now stuck and uses Aerial Ace. Alchemy uses Psychic Fangs for 3% of Jirachi's health, and Jirachi uses Acid Armor. Alchemy counters with Hydro Pump, and Jirachi uses Curse to raise its defense even more, but also raise its attack. Alchemy uses Mega Horn, which isn't going to do much because of the 2.5 times defense. And Alchemy teleports into Iron Valiant. Jirachi uses Charge to raise its special defense. And its next electric move, Iron Valiant uses Gyro Ball, which does more damage the slower you are compared to your opponent. Jirachi was already at minus speed, so that wasn't going to work. Iron Valiant makes Grimmsnarl come in and uses Payday. Grimmsnarl also tries to use Ally Switch but fails. Iron Valiant uses Perish Song. Grimmsnarl uses Uproar to KO Iron Valiant and brings in Alchemy. Alchemy's speed gets lowered and takes 23% from an Uproar. Alchemy counters with Rock Slide. And Grimmsnarl's perish count is slowly going down. Alchemy used Flatter to raise Grimmsnarl's special attack, but it's no longer stuck in Uproar. So it had to switch out. And the Healing Wish came true for Jirachi, so that Healing Wish from the first few turns really came in play there. Jirachi uses Shadow Force, and Alchemy uses Dig, so it avoids the Shadow Force and deals massive damage. Massive being 16%. But Jirachi uses Reflect, and Alchemy uses Twister. Anyways, Jirachi uses Eerie Spell, while Alchemy uses Grass Pledge, and one attack will take Alchemy down, and that attack will be Night Daze. Indeedee comes in, and Jirachi uses Last Resort, but that won't work because Metronome doesn't work with Last Resort. And the Jazzy Jirachis win because of Perish Song. What else is there to say? Indeedee just caused its own death. Because they don't have anyone else to switch out to, and it's a 3v1. So, Indeedee can't do anything anyways. Grimmsnarl comes in and uses Arm Thrust, not that it matters, but does get Arm Thrusted in return, and Indeedee faints. Now, I had a hard time coming up with the MVP for this battle, but I think I've got to give it to Jirachi. Just the fact that it managed to KO so many, or be in when so many Pokemon got KO'd, and only getting KO'd because of low HP and struggle. That's some pretty cool stuff. And Jirachi was also really good about buffing itself. Grimmsnarl didn't KO itself this time, so that's good. At least we have that. On to the next battle. You might remember that last time the Screamtail Saints won. I'm pretty sure. I forget. I'm recording this like 5 days after. Probably more. But let's see what happens this time. Gengar Machamp lead. Gengar starts off the battle by trying to use Burn Up, but it's not a fire type, so it doesn't work. While Machamp uses Power Whip, and Cursed Body immediately disables Metronome. Gengar uses Smart Strike, and Machamp deals 30 damage with Struggle. It looks like Gengar's gonna go down. But Machamp is also going to go down next turn if it doesn't get the disable gone or switch out. And Machamp goes down to its own struggle, while only dealing 14% of Celebi's health in the meantime. Celebi uses Sweet Scent to lower Hariyama's evasion, and Hariyama tries to get one of the boosts from... one of the statuses from Tri Attack. Celebi uses No Retreat, so now it's stuck in battle, but also has +1 in every stat, and gets a critical hit Circle Throw to bring out Berserker. Berserker's attack is lowered by 2 stages with Feather Dance, and Celebi's paralyzed, so it can't do anything about Solar Beam. Not that it does much anyways. And Celebi uses Infestation to trap Berserker and deal constant damage. Celebi then uses Psycho Boost, which is Deoxys' signature move. And its attack gets lowered by Tearful Look from Berserker. Lucario uses Gastro Acid, so Celebi no longer has Natural Cure. Not that it matters since it's no retreated. Celebi gets hit by a hard dark pulse. And Lucario uses Earth Power for some reason. And Celebi uses Payday, which will not do much damage. But Matcha Gotcha does 7 damage, but also heals Lucario. Celebi now has Inner Focus. And Lucario gets Psych Up. Celebi uses Wish. And Lucario uses Misty Terrain, so that's a free wish. Okay, I had to do something. I'm recording this while we're packing for our vacation. And it turns out that these replays don't automatically pause. So, we're just gonna watch from the previous turn. Lucario gets Misty Terrain, which gives Celebi a free healing. Back to 54%. Lucario uses Esper Wing to raise its speed even more. And Celebi gets fully paralyzed. Lucario uses Leer, while Celebi uses Leaf Storm to lower its special attack even more. Lucario uses Parting Shot to lower Celebi's special attack even more. And Celebi uses Hex, which does very minimal damage due to its low special attack. And Florges gets Wood Hammer. Celebi gets fully paralyzed. And Florges uses Spark, which is also resisted. Celebi gets High Jump Kick with its -1 attack. Florges gets Agility, while Celebi gets Drain Punch and heals it back up to 40 health, and it eats its Lepa Berry. Florges uses Weather Ball, and Celebi uses Present to heal Florges back up. Celebi gets almost KO'd by an Ice Fang, but also gets flinched. Florges finally takes down Celebi with a Giga Impact. Magmortar comes out, Florges has to recharge, and Magmortar uses Blue Flare. Florges uses Eerie Impulse to lower Magmortar's special attack, and Magmortar uses Eerie Spell to lower Metronome's PP. Florges gets Head Smash and nearly KOs itself, but does get KO'd by Fire Fang. Lucario comes back out and uses Play Nice to lower Magmortar's attack stat, and Magmortar misses a Screech. Lucario uses Skitter Smack to KO the Magmortar with a crit. Pretty sure that crit mattered. I'm not sure. Lucario uses Drill Run into Gallade, and Gallade counters with Wild Charge to KO Lucario. Hariyama comes back out, and Gallade uses Hex, and Hariyama uses Flash Cannon. Gallade now uses Lash Out, which doesn't do much, and Hariyama uses Mystical Fire to lower Gallade's special attack. Gallade uses Darkest Lariat, and Hariyama uses Mega Drain. Gallade tries to use Sandsteer Storm, but misses, and Hariyama uses Lunar Dance to KO itself, and Screentail uses Electro Web. Gallade uses Stockpile to raise its speed and defense. Not speed. I don't know where I got speed from. To raise its defense and special defense. Gallade uses Block, which doesn't do anything because Screamtail is the last Pokemon. And Gallade does not get KO'd by an Arm Thrust and manages to get a Rock Tomb before dying. Mr. Rhyme comes out and uses Howl to raise its attack stat. Screamtail uses Iron Tail, which lowers Mr. Rhyme's defense. Mr. Rhyme uses Night Slash, and Screamtail counters with Headlong Rush. Now Screamtail's at a disadvantage being at -1 in both defenses and speed, but does manage to KO Mr. Rhyme with Leech Life. Tinkaton comes out, and now it's down to a 1v1. Tinkaton uses Chloroblast to deal minuscule damage to Screamtail, but also to deal 50% to itself, and gets hit by a Snipe Shot. And Tinkaton uses Mortal Spin, so now Screamtail's on a timer. If Screamtail doesn't KO Tinkaton this turn, they win. Screamtail does not KO Tinkaton, so that means that the intimidating Iron Valiants won. Alright, Battle 3. Let's see what happens. Poltegeist, Mew lead. So Mew tries to use Moonlight, but that won't work since it's at full HP. And Poltegeist uses Defense Curl. Mew uses Water Gun, and Poltegeist uses Cut, both dealing about the same amount of damage. Mew heals all that damage back up with Morning Sun, and Poltegeist gets Rapid Spin to raise its speed and now outspeed Mew and use Petal Dance. Mew uses Stomping Tantrum, and Poltegeist is locked into Petal Dance. It cannot use it until the end of next turn. It has to use it until the end of next turn. Mew uses Play Rough but misses, and Poltegeist will not take down Mew because Mountain Gale missed. Mew uses Iron Defense, so now a physical move will do nothing, basically nothing, unless it's a high power move. Poltegeist loses 2% in recoil damage, and Togekiss comes out to take a power trip. A 60 base power trip from a Poltegeist that's resisted. Togekiss uses Takedown, but Poltegeist is immune to it, and Poltegeist uses Wing Attack. Togekiss uses Present, but Poltegeist is immune to it. Poltegeist uses Doom Desire, and Togekiss uses Fairy Wind, and gets disabled. Poltegeist uses Smart Strike, and Togekiss uses Struggle. Poltegeist now uses Ice Beam, and out comes Dragonite, because Ice Beam managed to KO. No burn from Ember, but Water Pulse comes out and deals a good amount of damage. Poltegeist now raises its special defense, and Dragonite takes those boosts with Psych Up. Tries to use Powder Snow for the freeze. Poltegeist switches around its attack and defense, but that's not going to work because Aqua Cutter now KOs it. Ludicolo comes out, and Dragonite uses Roar of Time. Ludicolo uses Magnet Rise, and Dragonite uses Sing but misses. Meanwhile, Dragonite has to recharge, and Ludicolo uses Sing. Dragonite is asleep, and Ludicolo uses Victory Dance. Dragonite wakes up and uses Horn Attack. At least it's not Horn Drill. Ludicolo uses Sludge Wave, which is a special move, not a physical move. And Dragonite uses Alluring Voice. Banette comes out, and Dragonite uses Spikes. Banette uses Mega Drain. Dragonite uses Psychic Noise, so Banette can no longer use healing moves for a turn. And Banette gets Metal Burst. Dragonite uses Conversion 2 to resist Steel. And Banette gets rid of the spikes. Dragonite uses Lock On. And Banette uses Weather Ball, which does not do much damage. Dragonite uses Bounce, so that was a waste of a lock-on. Banette tries to use Rising Voltage, but it doesn't work, and Dragonite misses Bounce. Banette uses Stomping Tantrum to KO Dragonite. Infernape comes out, and uses Baton Pass immediately. Bayonet uses Spore on Annihilate, and Annihilate is now asleep. Bayonet uses Quiver Dance. Bayonet is setting up in front of this Annihilate, and uses Slack Off while Annihilate is still napping. Bayonet uses Screech, but makes Defiant come, and Annihilate uses Jaw Lock to KO Bayonet. Unfortunately, now Annihilate will always have to use a physical move because of Cursed Body, so it will always get the 2x attack damage boost. But it won't do much to Electivire, and Annihilate will KO itself. Infernape comes out and KOs Electivire with a Throat Chop. Hypno comes out, and Infernape outspeeds and uses Crunch. Infernape is all about these dark moves. Hypno uses Shot to make Infernape slower and weaker to fire. Fire is weak against fire, apparently. Iron Hands comes out, and Infernape uses Rock Polish to raise its speed, and Iron Hands tries to use Roost. Infernape uses Stomping Tantrum, while Iron Hands uses Pain Split, which just makes it lose HP because it's bulky as heck. Infernape uses Glaive Rush, and Iron Hands uses Corrosive Gas, so Infernape no longer has its berry. Mean Look fails because Infernape used Fly, and unlike Dragonite actually hits it, because Fly can miss. Infernape uses Mega Drain to heal back some HP, but not much. And Tar Shot gets used again. Infernape uses Morning Sun, and Iron Hands uses Thunder Shock. Infernape uses Pluck, and steals the Lepa Berry, and Iron Hands uses Mega Horn. It's not looking good, and Infernape gets the KO. Now obviously, Infernape gets MVP of that battle. No brainer. It was a super easy decision. And I believe we're on to the final battle already. That's crazy to think about. I was recording for like 15 minutes. It is time for the final battle. Let's go. Alright, so it's a Golduck Hitmonlee lead. Hitmonlee manages to outspeed and use Water Gun. A special attack against a water type, not the smartest decision. And Golduck counters with Wild Charge. Hitmonlee then uses Mist. I don't remember what Mist does. But Golduck uses Seed Flare. And Hitmonlee uses Tackle. That's not great. Hitmonlee's almost gone down, but it gets a huge hit with Matcha Gotcha to restore some HP, and gets foul played by Golduck. Hitmonlee misses Night Daze, something I didn't even know was possible, and Golduck gets Water Spout to KO Hitmonlee. Azumarill comes out, and Golduck uses Icy Wind, and doesn't even lower the speed. Azumarill uses Giga Drain and nearly KOs Golduck. Golduck uses Bullet Punch. All they're doing is not much. Azumarill misses their Dynamic Punch and gets hit by Defog, but KOs Golduck with an Aqua Tail. Poliwrath uses Triple Dive on a water type, but Stab. Azumarill uses Double Kick. Poliwrath uses Rock Smash against a Fairy type. Azumarill uses Solar Beam, but doesn't actually get to use it because of charging and Poliwrath using Frenzy Plant. Poliwrath gets paralyzed while it has to recharge. Politoed misses cut. Poliwrath uses water spout, but water absorb. Politoed uses heart swap, which does nothing, because there are no stat changes. Poliwrath does a good amount of damage with takedown, while Politoed counters with hammer arm to lower its own speed. And Poliwrath uses last respects. I believe it's 100 base power at this point. Politoed gets Hex. That's 100 base power because of paralysis. Poliwrath gets Flatter. Politoed gets Rain Dance, and Poliwrath gets fully paralyzed. Politoed hits itself in confusion, and Poliwrath gets Tar Shot. Poliwrath gets fully paralyzed, and Politoed gets Guard Split. Politoed uses Metal Sound. I guess they have the same speed. Poliwrath uses Aqua Tail against a Water Absorb Mon. Politoed finally takes down Poliwrath. And out comes Alakazam. Alakazam uses Shelter, while Politoed uses Synthesis to fully heal itself. Alakazam then uses Axe Kick. Politoed uses Defense Curl. And Alakazam tries to use Aurora Veil, but Snow is not up. And First Impression doesn't work because Politoed has been out for a while. Politoed tries to use Steel Roller, but there's no terrain on the field. Yeah, I know random moves, and I don't know, like, Mist. My logic is very confusing. No Omni Boost for Alakazam. Politoed gets Growth to raise both its attack stats, and Alakazam successfully hits a Night Daze, while Politoed has to eat its berry after using Luster Purge, and nearly goes down to a Moonblast. Alakazam then uses Tackle to KO Politoed. That would have been very unfortunate if it missed. Alakazam uses Calm Mind, and Grumpig uses Tea Time, so both of the Pokemon have to eat their berries now. Alakazam uses Psy-Shield Bash and raises its defense again. Grumpig uses Fairy Lock, and Alakazam uses Mega Punch. Grumpig counters with Aqua Tail. Alakazam then uses Sky Attack, but will it get it off? That is the question. Mesprit comes out. It does get the Sky Attack off, but not much damage, but flinches. Alakazam uses Cotton Spore, and Mesprit counters by lowering its speed even more. Alakazam uses Con Guard to max out its defense, and Mesprit uses Stone Edge for a good amount of damage even with max defense. Alakazam. Mesprit uses Memento, and out comes Grumpig again. Alakazam uses Dive, and Grumpig tries to use Giga Drain, but it fails because you can't hit someone underwater. Grumpig then uses Ceaseless Edge, but it doesn't KO Alakazam because of max defense. In fact, Alakazam nearly KOs itself. Its special attack is at 0.4 times, so Mystical Fire is going to do nothing. Grumpig then uses Round to KO Alakazam. Muck comes out now and Grumpig uses Mega Punch and Muck uses Nuzzle. So now Muck should outspeed the Grumpig. It does, and uses Rain Dance. Muck then uses Strength, and Grumpig gets Sand Tomb to trap Muck. If Muck can KO Grumpig this turn, it gets rid of it, and it does. Sandtomb no longer is on Muck, and now it's only Inteleon left. Super Fang does half of Muck's remaining HP. Magical Leaf does 31%, nearly half, obviously. Muck uses Lumina Crash, and now Inteleon will most likely go down to a special attack. Maybe not anymore, because it just used Noble Roar and lowered both attack stats. And Muck used Fire Pledge. But will not get KO'd by Pin Missile. Or should not get KO'd by Pin Missile. Yep. That's game. Let's go to the stats. Oh, right. The MVP was Alakazam. For reasons I shouldn't have to go over. So after week 1, these are the final records. I figured out how I can do double battle metronome battles, so that should be easier. Anyways, thank you for watching, and hopefully you'll be able to join for the next week. Oh, and no PSMA videos next week because I'm on vacation.